Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So as you probably heard, recently Bob Harper, the Biggest Loser trainer that was once vegan, had a heart attack, and now in his recovery, his doctors are recommending a Mediterranean diet to help him out. So Bob's been posting lots of photos of his meals on his Instagram, and he's got, fish on there. His doctors are recommending that for his Mediterranean diet. And apparently, Bob's been attacked, he claims, by vegans who are leaving mean comments on his Instagram. Bob wants you just to leave him alone, just unfollow him, no more hate. Just out of curiosity, I went to some of these Instagram posts to try to find these hateful comments, and sure, there's plenty of comments there from vegans, but unless Bob's deleted the hateful ones already, I just see plenty of actually really helpful comments, helpful suggestions, people not being mean whatsoever, just leaving some good advice and asking some really pointed questions like, ask your doctors, is there any study verifying that a Mediterranean diet actually reverses heart disease? Good stuff to ask your doctors. Well, there are studies out there which show that a Mediterranean diet is better for your heart than the diets that most people are consuming, which isn't saying a lot. But these commenters on Bob's Instagram are right. The science shows there is something much better.
Heart disease could be as rare as malaria today if we simply put into practice what we already know.
Well, considering that heart disease is the #1 cause of death, that's a bold claim. What does Dr. Ornish know?
Ornish showed that on his plant-based diet and lifestyle program, cardiac patients had a 91% reduction in angina attacks. In contrast, control group patients who were instead told to follow the advice of their physicians had a 186% increase in reported angina attacks.
So did you get that? If you're following the advice of your physician like Bob's doing, your chances of getting a cardiac event again in the future are almost certain. However, if you're following a plant-based diet, it's almost certain to not happen. How can this possibly be true? Is there actually any real science behind this?
In hundreds of patients, data now going back over 20 years, and this most recent study about a decade, once they start eating this way, you'll make yourself heart attack proof.
Did Dr. Esselstyn just say heart attack proof?
Going back over proof. We know that if people are eating this way, they are not going to have a heart attack.
Dr. Esselstyn's own research has shown that a plant-based diet is the only diet in the world that's been shown by science to actually reverse the effects of heart disease. As this photo here from his own research clearly shows, compare the photo on the left with the one on the right. The one on the right is after 32 months of a plant-based diet, high carb, low fat, no cholesterol medications whatsoever. Look at the remarked improvement. So what kind of crazy wild foods does Dr. Esselstyn recommend to get these amazing results?
Whole grains for their cereal, bread, and pasta, beans, vegetables, yellow, red, green, and fruit.
All right, sounds simple enough. What kinds of foods should we avoid?
Oil, dairy, meat, fish, and chicken.
We'll add a little bit of fruits and veggies to that list, and you got what looks to me to be a lot like a Mediterranean diet. Well, in Dr. Esselstyn's book here, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, he discusses the Mediterranean diet, and in particular, the Lyon study, which is what pretty much any Mediterranean diet proponent refers to when they base their claims about its heart benefits. Well, anyway, as Dr. Esselstyn talks about here, about 1 out of 4 people, heart patients on the Mediterranean diet after nearly 4 years either had another heart attack or died. Well, how does Dr. Esselstyn's results compare to that?
I was curious about the science behind Dr. Esselstyn's claims, so I dug up some of these peer-reviewed journals. In one study here, patients on the Esselstyn diet and cholesterol-lowering medication had no heart attacks, had no coronary events of any sort after 5 years. And 3/4 of these patients actually saw their blockages get smaller.
Compare that. 0% of Dr. Esselstyn's patients had any further cardiac events, let alone died, compared to 25% of those on the Mediterranean diet.
It is possible to keep everybody from having a heart attack with education, with knowledge, with information. Now the question becomes, are people going to do this?
Dr. Esselstyn is absolutely right. The facts are out there. No diet other than a plant-based diet high in carbs, low in fats and oil can not only prevent and treat, but actually reverse heart disease. Mediterranean diet doesn't open your arteries back up. Anyway, he's absolutely right. People need to be educated and informed about this. And I'm not talking about just about lay people like Bob. I'm talking about doctors. Doctors need to know this stuff. For some reason, the information isn't getting through. and or they're just not telling it to their patients. And they have a responsibility to know this stuff and to tell their patients that they have an option, which is really cheap. It requires no extra money because we still need to eat food, that will prevent you from ever getting another heart attack, therefore bypassing the #1 cause of death. So let me know down below, what did you think of Bob's reaction to these mean, hateful comments from vegans? I think what was going on is they weren't telling him what he wanted to hear. They were telling him what he needed to hear. And I didn't see anything mean or hateful, but for some reason, Bob is just resisting this information, this body of science that shows that there's only one diet to make yourself heart attack proof, and it's not the Mediterranean diet. So I feel for him. You know, he's been through a lot. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a recent heart attack survivor. So don't go to his page. Don't leave a bunch of hateful comments. Keep leaving good, positive, loving messages like the ones I've been seeing here. And actually, let me know down below too, what do you think about this, what seems to be just insurmountable proof that a plant-based diet is the one and only way to treat and reverse heart disease. You know, it's the best way to not die by the #1 cause of death. So let me know what you think about all this evidence down here. And if you got some of this video, hit like. Let me know that you like me making these informative videos that will hopefully save people's lives. And share it with a friend who's suffering with heart disease but refuses to give up their meat and dairy and all that stuff. And if you're new, subscribe here for more from me and Angie at Happy Healthy Vegan. Until next time, Bob, keep it carb, baby. Keep it carb.